Yo, 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 what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host with the most Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, joined alongside, as always, the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall for another SmackDown breakdown part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show. Sara, what's poppin'?
Hey, yo.
Hello. Welcome.
So the other day I was thinking about this, that I'm a part of my job is to just go into restaurants and just like check in with, the employees, chefs, whatever, about like how things are, what could we do something better? And the way I walk in, and sometimes these places are just so, close together in distance that I just walk from one to one. And I had the thought that when I go in here, I'm just thinking that I'm like Scott Hall going out to the ring to be like, Hollywood sent me out here to take the survey. I got sent from my boss to come and take the survey. It's like, I thought you'd appreciate that.
Yes, I do. Ooh. Please tell me you're not young enough to know what that is from. You're too young. Oh, okay.
No, I can't. No.
From what? What is it from?
Give me a hint.
It's from an old Nickelodeon show.
Cartoon?
Nope.
Oh, Amanda Show.
Nope.
Damn it.
Keenan and Kel.
Oh, see, I didn't watch Keenan and Kel. I was all that into Amanda Show. I didn't really.
Oh yeah, no, Keenan and Kel, and it was because Kel loved orange soda. And I loved orange soda. I still do. So he would just say he loves orange soda. And he was like, I do. Ooh. Like, yeah. Because orange soda was my favorite too. Still is.
I remember Good Burger. Welcome to the Good Burger.
Well, that was just a movie. But yeah, this was actually their like television show.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was then. This is now technically 24 hours ago almost. SmackDown, yeah. We're going to break it down right now. Sara, what do we give this show? What were we thinking? Like, do we like it?
Yeah, I don't think it was bad. It wasn't like exciting. I mean, we did get the announcement of the draft, which will be simultaneously taking place at the same time as the NFL draft. So that's going to be a fun night for me because I will likely be watching the NFL draft. But
well, you gotta go like me and blast the double screens.
Well, I think the NFL draft will actually be on before I get SmackDown because I don't get to watch SmackDown live. So
it's true.
SmackDown's not on until 7 for me. So I would assume that the NFL draft is probably on before that. But regardless, I see the spoilers for SmackDown. So I basically just watched SmackDown so I could see it for myself.
Yeah, and get your opinion.
But yeah, so that's why I'm fine with watching the NFL draft. But I think that was definitely strategic. I'm just not sure that it was necessarily the best move. The good thing is, well, yeah, because it's 2 drafts. But when SmackDown's on, it'll be the second day of the draft. So it'll have less eyes on it than if it were still on like Thursday night SmackDown or something.
That's true. Okay.
Because I think more people watch the first round than they do like the second.
Oh,
third.
after because of my new job now, I'm in on Friday nights like 100%. So I'll probably throw it on one screen. But, after 3, I don't care. I
kind of just start. I just check. Yeah, I watch like the first round for sure. And then maybe I'll sit and watch the second. But, when you're a Patriots fan, it's not always the most exciting because they like to like trade out and whatever. So it's like I really just sat here for 2 hours for you guys to trade out of the first round.
That's how I felt one year. It was on a stream and the Patriots. Yeah, brutal.
I know. So anyway, the WWE draft will be taking place starting in 2 weeks from yesterday on SmackDown, and then they'll be carrying over to Raw. I'm really interested to see how they're going to do it this year because a lot of years that they did it, they had general managers and like they were the ones doing the draft picks, and they don't have general managers right now. They have like Adam Pearce, but I mean like he is in charge on both shows, but like he's not going to favor one over the other. It's not going to be like a competitive thing. So I'm wondering if they're going to like try and spice it up a little bit between now and then, because otherwise like Pierce is competing with himself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to move this person to Raw and this person to SmackDown. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. Do you think that they'll do something similar to what they did for the Iron Survivor or whatever for NXT, where they get like a panel of people? So you get like Triple H, you'll get Adam Pearce.
I mean, maybe that. I think that
you maybe get Shawn Michaels too, because maybe NXT's involved.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea. It would make more sense than them being like, we're general managers now, you know, and it's like,
no
this is just for 1 week, basically.
Yeah, I mean, no one cares about the general managers now. Adam Pearce, I feel like, has found himself a good role backstage. I mean, he's a great face for the company and great character in there. So I think he needs to be like the face of it.
Yeah, the backstage stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that it'll be interesting for sure. But then we finally got to see LA Knight on our screens again. He was in a match against Mr. Xavier Woods. So that's been happening since basically WrestleMania, because they had their little moment backstage. And so that's, you know, fun. It's finally happening. He's still super over with the crowd, which is good, but I thought it was a little, it's always crazy to me when they're supposed to be the heel and they're that over against someone who's that over as a babyface. Like, if you can still get a good reaction from the crowd when you're against somebody from like the New Day, then that tells you how over you are. So kudos to him. I mean, every time he did LA Knight, the crowd is going along with it. Yeah, and when he does that too, they him back, which I think is pretty great. So yeah, it was just it was a good match. Obviously, Knight loses courtesy of Xavier Woods grabbing his tights and whatever. So since his losing streak is continuing, I'm very confused about what exactly they're trying to do with LA Knight, because then it's not even just that they lost. So right, so you're like, okay, maybe this is going to be a feud between him and Xavier Woods for whatever reason, just a random pointless feud, right? But I guess that could still happen. But then after the match, Xavier challenges Gunther to the IC title. So then I'm like, okay, so are we not doing this? Or is it going to be like LA Knight is going to cost him the title? Like, what are we doing? Like, that's the only way that I feel like it would work. But I would like him to have a deeper rooted feud, I feel, other than being like, I'm mad because you got to play video games at Mania and I'm not on Mania, and Xavier's mad because you threw his his controller to his
those are expensive.
But I know, but like, I'm just saying, like, I wish it would be a little deeper than that. But
yeah,
I guess him being on TV is better than nothing.
No, my thing is, I totally agree with what you're saying. It's one of those things you just let it play out, which sucks, because everyone wants him on TV. They're doing a slow burn with him, which I don't really feel like is the case anymore. I feel like there doesn't need to be a slow burn with him. Just throw him into the fire.
Listen to how over he is when he's not been in a SmackDown or a Raw match in weeks. Like, he's still that over.
Exactly. So maybe, like, honestly, have him go against Gunther. Imagine a feud with them. I feel like that'd be incredible.
He would just lose, though. So what would be the point?
No, but build up to it. Like, get LA, like, lead that into SummerSlam.
I mean, maybe, but they would also have to change LA Knight to a face.
I mean, I don't know.
I guess a little bit, but I don't know.
I feel like you got to throw him into some sort of title picture, or, you know, big feud, like a deep-rooted feud in a way. Maybe switch shows.
I was gonna say, maybe they're not gonna do anything. They should put him on Raw. Honestly, he screams Raw to me.
Yeah, he's a Raw guy. I mean, it's
imagine him versus Seth Rollins.
That's what exactly. Like, he's too much of a big name where he doesn't need to be on SmackDown as much as that's my I love SmackDown.
Yeah.
I get that blue blood, but and I love him, but the problem is that he's too good. Like, if he should be main eventing SmackDown, but you're not going to have a main event SmackDown because the champion should be, and he shouldn't be that champion because that champion should be the champion. So,
well, and I think that SmackDown is in an even trickier situation than Raw because it's not just that Roman's not there. So it's like they can't even challenge for the championship or anything, or either of them, because Roman's not there. On SmackDown, you kind of can't really do that either, or you can for Gunther, but you know that Gunther's not going to lose. So it's kind of like, it's not the same as if you were on Raw challenging for the United States Championship. You kind of don't know what they're doing with Austin Theory or how long they project for him to remain the champion. So it's like more interesting because you don't know what's going to happen, but with Gunther, you pretty much know they're going to probably keep that title on him for quite a while. So as great as those matches could be, it still just feels kind of pointless because it feels like you're going into the match already knowing the result. So it's not really fun as a fan to like be invested in it. It'll be a good match, but if you kind of already feel like you know what's going to happen, then
See, I kind of off the beaten path here, but I disagree with that. That if I know the result, I don't really care about the match. I was like that before, but since I've got back into this and doing all that and going to the Limitless shows and that nonsense, I really don't care. Like, if it's, I want to see it be good. Like, all right, I know the result. If it better be fucking good. Like, let's like give me a reason why this guy should win, because then I like to dissect it. That's the thing that I take away from it, and my positive spin with it is that I like to dissect why they did it and kind of see the steps. You know what I mean? And that's what they're doing well right now with stuff. Like, everything's connecting, and everything in wrestling should have a purpose, even some of the tiniest details. So to me, that's what I think.
Well, I mean, it's not, I see SmackDown results every single week and I still watch it, like when it comes on for me.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's not an issue. I just mean, for me, I think it just depends. Like, if it's two people that I don't necessarily care that much about, like, maybe I won't watch it. But when it's somebody that I do like, and if I know that I'm just going to be disappointed, sometimes I won't watch it for that very reason, or at least until I feel like I can emotionally do it. Like when you told me that Pretty Deadly lost whatever show that they were at for the tag titles, and then I was like, all right, I'm not even going to watch it then, because like I don't want to get irritated. So
you don't want to go through, you already are. Yeah, I can see
yeah,
that.
so I don't know, I think that LA Knight screams Raw to me, and I hope in a way that they move him. And then, I mean, him even versus Cody would be sick. Like, imagine them on the mic battling it out.
That's such a good idea.
Like, and that would get him nuclear heat, as we love to say, because Cody couldn't be bigger right now. Not the same thing with like Seth. Like, it would be really cool to see those guys against each other. So let's hope that maybe that's why they're not really potentially having Xavier and LA Knight go on right now. Like, maybe that's what it is. I don't know, but we shall see. So did you want to get to the comments?
Yeah, let's get some comments here. Oh, I love that comment. Hello, come on, baby, before the streams. Damn right, you got the stream. Kingdom Ray says hello to you, and he says hello to me. You can say
hello.
Champ, Pitts, just Mr. Pitts. That's not even my. We don't go by formalities in the Pitts household.
That's their dad. Okay. You're like, that's my dad.
It's not even my dad, because my dad is Dickie. Everyone calls him Dickie Pitts. No, even my friends. They
but I just meant like like it's formal, like that's your dad.
Oh, true, yeah, but like,
by,
even then, like, we just don't use formalities like that. So call me Champ Pitts. I know you don't like Patty, but so there's your options. And then he also asked, you're building an all-star team and you need a powerhouse. These are your options: Prime Awesome Kong, Bianca Belair, or Rhea Ripley.
Ooh. Dang.
Well, thing is, like, I want to pick Awesome Kong because if we're doing an all-star team, you're gonna have athletic people like Bianca Belair. You're gonna have your kind of stronger, not like beast women, but like jacked people like Rhea Ripley. You're gonna have that. Awesome Kong gives me that, like, she is a stalwart.
I feel
You're
like
not
that
gonna
would be
move
like
her.
a cheat code. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna go with the girl that can just obliterate anybody.
Exactly. Awesome Kong was sick.
It's too bad
God,
that it
her
never
impact run was
worked
awesome.
out in WWE.
Me too.
That could have been good. But then I mean, part of it was her fault too. She got pregnant like so quickly. Like,
that's so
talk
tough.
about bad timing. I mean, I'm not saying, like, I mean, I'm happy that she had a baby. I don't mean that. I just mean, like, the timing couldn't have been worse for her,
Agreed. We celebrate life on this podcast.
Yes. I just want to clarify that it had nothing to do with anything weird about her having a baby.
No. Good for you. Have your kids. And then Yo-Yo, I'll add the other Yo, so we have some continuity. Punk equals ratings. You're damn right, but, like,
is this somebody who watched our video on CM Punk and didn't agree with us, and so that's why they're popping in?
Maybe. If that's the case, hello and welcome.
Yeah, because I got, like, a comment on that video that was flagged, so, like, I didn't even get notified of it, and then I saw the comment, and I was like,
Is he the flagger?
No, it wasn't me. I have it so that
Yo the flagger.
No.
Oh, okay. So no. Another. This evil twin Yo. All right, moving on from that nonsense. What is the next? Oh, I got it up here. Oh, hit at the same time. Whoops.
So the LWO is super over, and what's cool about it is that they're really over even when Rey Mysterio's not out there. So I think, this is obvious with saying that statement, but whoever decided to change Legado del Fantasma to the LWO was brilliant. It could not have been a better decision, which is crazy because Legado was not over at all, even as heels, which they were when they were first brought up. And I think it was just like they weren't connecting with the audience in any sort of way. And it wasn't like from a lack of talent perspective. It was like, I don't know, it just weren't clicking, I guess. So all of this, it's kind of like what we've talked about with Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Like, that was just kind of a randomly organic thing that happened, and then it just took off. This is the same thing. It just happened to be like Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar exchanged masks, which was like a huge, cool moment. Tough. And then this just like transformed into a whole new group, and Rey coming to their rescue and like joining them. Like, it wasn't something that was supposed to happen, but it's like, because I think it is because it just organically happened that it just has been good. Plus the nostalgia factor. I'm sure that's probably something that people really enjoy too.
And it touched the fans' hearts in that nostalgia way, because then you have that exchange of the masks, which I mean, to a diehard wrestling purist, that is a very cool moment, especially now with Rey getting to that point in his wrestling career.
Yeah.
And what a better time to bring it back, because you have the Dom rivalry going on, and then Damian Priest is also Hispanic and Latino, and the Bad Bunny, like, it's all connected.
Yeah. So
it's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. And so then we see Damian Priest versus Santos Escobar. So I think it's cool to feature the LWO. And then, of course, I'm glad that they're giving more solo action to Damian Priest, because we talked about how he seems to be like the forgotten member of the Judgment Day right now. So that was really cool. He ends up winning, and then looks like he's about to just cause destruction.
Absolute chaos.
The rest of the LWO comes out, because both them and Judgment Day were no, that was the wrong match. Never mind. Then they all just start brawling, and it ends up being the LWO in the ring staring down the Judgment Day. So clearly and Rey came out. just continuing the whole LWO with Bad Bunny and Ray versus the Judgment Day, which I'm wondering how far they'll take it after Backlash, because obviously this is just setting up Backlash. Sorry, my cat will not leave me
Remy
alone.
wants to talk about the LWO. Remy, what are your
No, she
thoughts
doesn't. She
on
wants to rip my headphones out of my ear. That's what she wants to
she's
do.
playing heel?
So
You guys gonna
anyway,
set up a little feud at Backlash? Is that
no, we
okay?
have a feud all the time. And see, like, then she does this where she like
You got
rubs her
weekly.
face on my laptop screen, and then it makes my camera shake, and it's just very annoying.
I want to say that this about Damian Priest, because you're right about his solo run right now in a way. Like, they need to give him a spotlight. The way he conducted himself during that interview backstage, the whole Kayla embarrassing thing, awesome.
Yeah.
Great way to build that up a little bit. But then him to like step in, just be like, anyways, and just the way he carries himself. Damian Priest, I don't know if he should be, but I don't know if they'll ever pull the trigger on it. But he should be in the title picture a little bit down the line. Like, once this, restructure everything, the draft, give him a little bit of a competition for the title. Maybe even give him a little bit of a run. Because that's another way to put Judgment Day over too. Judgment Day is on that way where if you're gonna reintroduce factions and build them up to, the strength that they should be at, you need to put a legitimate title on them. I think it's a great start with Gunther. Now let's improve it and step up and do it with Judgment Day. Even maybe an Intercontinental run for Santos, a
It would
women's title for Zelina. Like, you got to do that shit.
and that's one of the things that I want to see be better under Triple H is these groups not floundering, or there's one star in the group and the rest are just kind of like along for the ride. And it seems like that's kind of what's been going on, with Damage Control. And even with Judgment Day, it's been all about Rhea and Dom. It just depends on the week who it's more about. So it would be nice if we don't have that continue with all of these groups that are doing so well, because I felt like they did a really great job with how they handled the New Day, even when Big E was off doing his solo thing, and Kofi and Xavier were doing theirs at the tag team scene. So it's like, that you're capable of doing this. So I know that was a Vince thing, but like, you're capable and that it can work. So I hope that they can figure that out, because I would hate to see a group like the LWO or Judgment Day just kind of like flop simply because of just, they didn't think creatively,
Didn't think outside the wall of Alexandria.
Whatever you say. Then we had Liv Morgan and Raquel come to the ring, and they were celebrating their recent tag team title win, and Chelsea and Sonya came out to challenge them. So I thought the whole thing was like, it was cute, it was whatever, but it felt very over the top. And then for for a reason, I feel like,
Well, it was
which
the red
worries me.
carpet.
No, I think it's an over the top thing for a purpose. So they got pyro and whatever. So my concern right now, and I feel like that's partially why it might have been over the top, is I feel like they might be placeholder champions for when Ronda and Shayna come back. And I really hope that that's not the case, because Raquel and Liv have worked so hard to get to the positions that they're in. I would hate for it to be like, oh, well, Ronda and Shayna were the number one contenders, and that's why they won at Mania, but they're both injured, so they couldn't do it. So let's just put them on Liv and Raquel. And then by the time those two come back, like, I would just hate for them to just get this really short title run for that reason.
I took the different side of it. I thought that, same as you, they've been working so hard and all this. I felt that this was them getting the, appreciation and reward that they deserve because of the pyro, because of the red carpet, stuff like that, little detail that makes it a little bit more prestigious that you are the women's tag champions. And maybe it's putting a little bit more legitimacy to it too, because you have these two dominant single stars that you put them together and they're a great team, maybe even a better team. And that was the thing too. And especially because I thought of this when I was watching, and actually rafflecoptered to first tag title run was with Aaliyah.
Oh yeah, that's right, huh? I kind of forgot about her.
Like, you forget, right?
Oh yeah. That's
Who-
crazy.
like,
Yeah, no, I was like, wait a second, who I had to think about who that was. Like, no
right?
disrespect, but like since she got injured, she's been kind of missing. So,
And like, it's just so to me, this was their way of saying, hey, this is our reward to you, appreciation that, you're going to get a championship run that you deserve. It might not be the one you wanted, but that's coming down the line because you are doing this for us right now. And to go on your Ronda Shayna piece, I do not think they'll win. However, you're right. It's inevitable. They're going to fight for the titles, at a pay-per-view or premium live event. Sorry. But I don't think they'll win. I don't
I
think
don't
you
know.
need to have them win, or at least they won't win the first time.
Well, I mean, it doesn't mean you have to think they'll win, or they don't need it. They don't pay attention to what they need or not, because they didn't need to win that match at Mania, but they had them win. I'm just not. This is just how it usually is when this kind of thing happens. Like, just historically, this is just what it is. When it's like you find out that other people were supposed to get the title, so you're like, oh, okay, well, whatever. So I'm not optimistic about this at all. But
You gotta be.
I did love Chelsea and Sonia, that they came out and they interrupted and they were talking about how Liv and Raquel basically don't even deserve to be champions, because Trish took place of Lita in the match and she wasn't even a tag team champion, so that should just disqualify them. And Adam Pearce is just an incompetent manager, and should have
Tiny
addressed
little
this
pea brain.
sooner. And so they say that they want to have a match. Liv accepts and says yes, whatever. But the thing that I've noticed is I think I kind of like Sonia and Chelsea together better than I liked Carmella and Chelsea. And I know we only got like a week or two of that, but and it could still be good. Like, even if they made it into a 3-woman team or something, I feel like that would be fine. But
Another
the fact that
faction.
yeah, but the fact that this was, or like, I keep using the word organic, but it was
Yeah.
like, this is something that Sonia has already been doing for a couple years, being like, oh, I need to speak to the general manager. She was the general manager and she's had beef with Adam Pearce. So it felt a lot more, um,
Fluid.
yeah, like it just made more sense than forcing Carmella and Chelsea together. Like, as great as it seemed like they could have been, the fact that Chelsea's supposed to be like a Karen character that has a problem with the general manager will pair her with the other person who's been doing that for a couple years now, and their dynamic is great. I enjoy them.
It's great because it feels, is what you said, like organic. It feels like it makes sense. You're not just pairing these people because they need to get TV time.
Were they
And
on Tough Enough together? I'm trying to
no,
think.
Chelsea Green can't be that.
Yes, she is.
No.
Yes, because wasn't Sonia on at the same time on the same show with Mandy? Yeah,
Sonya,
dude.
yeah, they're best friends.
Okay, so then yeah, they all go back to Tough Enough then. That's crazy. I just remembered that. Because Chelsea was on. She wasn't on for very long, but yeah, she was on that last season of Tough Enough. Crazy.
Ooh, that is crazy. And then put Carmella with them, it adds that like glam, another glam, because you have a nice balance between the dark, edgy
Mm-hmm.
Sonya Deville and then the
Yeah.
like, hello,
Yeah.
her outfits speak the same volume as her words type of gimmick with Chelsea Green. And then you have Carmella into that. And Carmella is a nice balance, where she's
Yeah.
not all black stuff, but she has a little bit of a dark side. She can also pull off these crazy, ridiculous things. And it's all about her because at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it's all about the individual there.
Mm.
So, yeah, I like this. I hope it goes into a nice direction where you get them the push that Damage Control should have had, but that's
Mm-hmm.
just how wrestling works.
Yeah. So I really liked it. I was kind of surprised because I don't know, if you were to tell me that this was going to be a pairing in the women's division, I wouldn't necessarily be like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to see it." You know what I mean? Um, but I'm excited. So Is there any comments that we need to get to before I move
The
on?
Kingdom of Razor will check in with the Kingdom himself. He's letting us know that it's crime time in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Kingdom of Razor again. He also said LWO wish they would play the original music. Yeah, you can't. There's a line.
I think they'll probably end up changing it because I think that it doesn't fit. It fit Legato to me, but I feel like for the LWO they do need to change it to something. I feel like a little more upbeat, not necessarily like booyaka booyaka, not like that. But I feel like it's kind of a quiet song and just like really slow. I don't know. I feel like they could change it up a little bit, and I think it would be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you cut Kingdom's take with yours right down the middle, you get what their entrance should be. I totally agree, but I disagree with this that Raquel Rodriguez should turn heel. That makes no sense.
Did you see the video of Liv asking her to not betray her?
Like, you can't.
She's like, don't betray me. I was like, don't do that to her again, this poor girl.
That's what I'm saying. You can't, dude. Like, you just come on. What's this one? Chelsea Green. But yeah, me too. Totally agree that we wish that Carmella didn't go missing, but injuries happen. And then Chelsea Green and Mandy Rose were on Tough Enough together.
Yeah,
so there you
that's
go.
What I said. Yeah.
Yeah. So
then we had another exciting moment. Nakamura is back, baby. And I don't know how many people actually cared, but I did.
I actually have someone who cared. The science guy with me at the.
But has he ever seen Nakamura?
No, and that's why I love it. So
he was. Was he excited? Like when he came out, he was like, "This guy's cool," and so he was excited, or was he looking forward to his return?
He was like, "I'll get the text up right here. A little peel back the curtain." So he texted me this morning when I was at work that he caught up and SmackDown was great. So the fact that I may have converted someone into a wrestling fan, I mean, hello, that's great. That's a champion type move right there. And they said also, I like this Shinsuke guy, which that's an incredible line.
Yeah. So I was really excited. I kind of had forgotten that they had announced that last week. So then I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. And then I watched the video because obviously I couldn't watch it live. And I was just like, that audience last night was great. Because they responded exactly according to how they should have. And it always reminds me, though, I don't know if we've talked about it, but when Chris Jericho declared that him having Judas as his song was when he created fans singing along to entrance music. And I was like, Jericho, we get it, honey. You've been around for a really long time, but don't bring your midlife crisis into something like that because that's not true. Like AEW's been around since 2019.
They were doing it in Ring of Honor with El Generico.
They were but I mean, like, no, I'm just saying, like, every time I hear Nakamura, it, it's like they were doing it with Cody, they were doing it with Nakamura, they were doing it with Fandango, like they were doing it like for years, like way before 2019. It's just like they were doing it with Sami Zayn, like
El Generico too.
No, as Sami Zayn.
Yeah,
his current song.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, but and then I mean Samoa Joe. Where they were like, Joe is gonna kill you. Yeah, like it's just like they've been doing it for years. So when I saw Nakamura come out and they're all singing, I was like, I always think about Jericho because I was like, I don't know what's going on with him, but that was just like one of the most obscene things he could have possibly said. But anyway, so Nakamura comes out. I was really happy to see that he was able to keep his song because they don't have a contract apparently with the CFOs anymore, and that was who created his song. So I was really glad. He had a very quick match against Madcap Moss, who appears to be in a jobber spot now, which doesn't necessarily surprise me because we said he is a caw. So
he literally is. Like, I'm sorry.
I know. And it's like
from the music
to
the
gear
line where you get a manager and she's like, you got this. You're like the best. And when she ever said Nakamura, Shinsuke's never won an Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I was like, Shinsuke won the goddamn Royal Rumble. That's like going up. That'd be like me going up to Paul Pierce and be like, yo, I won my CYO state title. in high school. It's like, that's great, man. I won an NBA final.
And
like,
that was wasn't that last year?
It was who? Madcap?
Yeah.
I think that was last year because he's doing the Happy Corbin thing.
Yeah, because Lashley. Yeah. Anyway, so that, whatever. He then tried to attack Nakamura post match, and I missed that part. So I had looked away for a second, and then when I looked back, Nakamura had put him in an armbar, and I was like, oh shit. So when I was writing this up, I was like, oh, are we going to get heel Nakamura again? And then I was reading the rundown. I was like, oh, wait, no. Okay, he didn't just do that. I thought that he just did it. And then I was like, oh, no, that's what they're doing. And then I saw, oh, no, Madcap was mad. So I was
even more of a fail.
Okay.
You blinked and this motherfucker was already in the armbar.
And that's why I was confused. And so then after the match, we see, first of all, too, I want to say, I love Shinsuke's new gear.
Really cool.
I love it. I love that he's doing the full entrance.
Especially
again.
in AK.
I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with Shinsuke. And so after the match, we see Scarlett looking out, laying out some tarot cards. And Nakamura is on one of them. So it appears we are going to get a Karrion Kross versus Nakamura feud, which to me feels like another last-ditch effort to get Karrion Kross over, as we've said a couple times, because it's just not working up until this point, which is unfortunate because I would hate for that to not work and then I don't get to see Scarlett anymore. But do you think that this will work this time? Do you think it'll work against a guy like Nakamura?
Yes, because Kross can hang with a guy like Nakamura, where it won't be a slaughter, one way or the other. It's going to be a good match. For instance, I was actually watching a compilation yesterday, I think, and a lot of it was actually a Damian Priest Kross feud. And they were doing a lot, it was a lot of brutal type moves where, you're going through something or, whatnot. But Kross can also wrestle. He can hit himself in the ring. And Nakamura is just, he's a Japan wrestler, New Japan.
Yeah.
He hit hard. King of strong style. Come on.
Yeah.
So to me, if you put them in there and you tell a story, right, which I'm very confident that the two of them can do, I'm in. I'm all in for it.
I'm not saying I'm not into it. I would just.
I think it has legs, is what I'm saying.
I think that I would just have to see how it's presented, because I think that there could have been some good moments between Ray and Karrion. I feel like that could have been good, or even the tease of Karrion and Drew McIntyre. There could have been something good there, but we just never really got to it. So it'll be interesting, and very quick for them to just jump straight into what Shinsuke is going to do. So we shall see. And then at the top of the show, the Bloodline started the show, but I figured since they were also basically throughout the entire show, we can talk about them now. So the one thing that I've noticed is the KO and Sammy versus the Bloodline stuff is just basically they're just saying the same stuff. It's just a different day, which isn't bad, but it's not great either, because, I think that their win at WrestleMania was the culmination of months and months and months of drama and fighting and whatever that led to that moment. And then you expected that there was going to be something after that, obviously, because they took the titles off of the Usos, of course. But it's just because they're saying, and it's just everything is just the same that they were doing before they won the titles. Yeah. That I'm just kind of not invested in it as much anymore, because it's oh yeah, we took the titles from you and Roman's still your daddy and the bloodline is collapsing. It's okay, great.
Yeah,
this is what you guys are saying.
My perspective with this is that I am viewing it through kind of two lenses, in that, KO Sammy story, it's a different from the bloodline story from what we're watching. From Royal Rumble to WrestleMania was, the show through Sammy and KO's perspective. They're going to win, all that, yada, yada, yada. Now, after Mania, we're getting the bloodline side. We're going to see the fall of the bloodline. And we thought it would be a quick rip it off like a Band-Aid type of finish at Mania with all of them losing, but we're going for a slow burn. And you got to build it out. I mean, for instance, the little shit that I saw was Solo, kind of giving Paul the side eye a little bit when he was mentioning people from the bloodline. And I was looking specifically to how he was looking when he said each name. And the 2 names or 3 names, I mean, that he brought up that were like, that's when he was like, all right, tell him I got this, were Umaga, Sika, I'm pretty sure. And then when he mentioned Rikishi, their dad, that's when he like, and then Coleman was trying to go on. He's like, tell him I got this. So, and then, I mean, we'll get to it, so I won't totally spoil it now, but I just see that they're going to make him this monster, and that's what we're getting, that, the Usos aren't needed anymore.
Solo versus Roman. And who got that? Who called that?
I still think Jay, but
I still think it's Solo. And I feel like hints of last night made it even more so. I just want to be right so bad. But there were subtle hints, like you said, throughout the night. So the Kevin Owens Sammy thing with the bloodline, obviously there is a new dynamic to it because they have Matt Riddle, which I don't know. Apparently this guy's really over. I don't really, whatever. So they go at it at the beginning of the show, and Riddle comes out to even the odds, and then he calls out Solo, which Adam Pearce obliges for the main event. And then we get to the main event, which was Matt Riddle versus Solo Sikoa. And I mean, my main question is, does anyone actually care about this? Which we'll get into that in a second. But pre-match, we had Paul Heyman in the ring with the bloodline, and he was talking on the ring and said that Roman had cleared it by Adam Pearce, or they all had cleared it by Adam Pearce, that the Usos will get their rematch on the night of the draft in 2 weeks for the tag team championships. So we get that. And then he was also talking about how the tribal chief is getting sick of the two of you. And when he said that, he was looking at the Usos. So there we go. Yes. But see, this is the thing, right? As great as that was, because, we've talked about it on here a lot, the hidden messaging and, the subtle hints and all of that throughout the entirety of Sammy and the bloodline. That was great and all, but is this how we're going to address Roman being gone? We're just going to he's going to be like a background character of their oh yeah, I spoke to him on the phone, guys, and he let me know that this is how it is. Is that what we're doing?
He's the Raw general manager.
I can't talk about this every single week, but it's so exhausting to me because speaking of, remember when I made that clip when we were talking about this last week, and I was saying that when people were calling me a Karen for wanting the champion on TV?
Yes.
I posted that as a YouTube short, and it has 10 likes and 7 dislikes. So I was
7 dislikes?
Yeah. And I was
7 people use the dislike button?
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's just something that I don't really understand why people would have an issue with, because what were you guys saying when Lesnar was gone for months with the title? Where were you? What were you saying? Were you complaining that he wasn't there and never defending the title? Because I guarantee you were. The only reason why you're not saying anything now is because it's Roman Reigns and you like him. That's why you're not saying anything. But the thing is I like Roman Reigns. No one can question my fanship of what? I can't hear you.
No one's debating that. Oh, I'm talking about it.
Oh, no, I've had people who said it to me on TikTok saying that they just spot a Roman hater. And I'm like, no, I like Roman. I've liked Roman since the Shield. My problem is I believe that the champion should be on television every week, at least on one show. But he is a double champion. And if he was just going to take weeks off or months off, then take the titles off or take one title off. I don't understand why that's so controversial, but I still just think that I think that it was just really bad timing for him to take time off after WrestleMania because there's so much story left to tell with the bloodline, especially since the Usos lost, that it's kind of not hitting as hard when Paul Heyman is acting as the telephone basically for Roman. Like, it would be a lot better if you could see Roman and you could see his like attitude and his facial expressions and how he's speaking to them. Like, to me, that would be a lot more. I don't know. It would
So I
just.
just thought of a little like what if in my head for you that okay, say he's going to take this time off like he's doing right now, but instead of having Heyman relay the message or whatever, what if he did like either a social media clip or a backstage segment or something where he's
Segment's
on the
fine because you can pretend he's there.
yeah, and
But
it's maybe he's at or on the island of relevancy and he's, you know, building up the gimmick, whatever, lounging, doing champion stuff, and he's like a message for my bloodline brothers and goes into what he has to say. I feel like that'd be a little bit better than nothing.
yeah, I mean, it would be. And see, it's like, I don't know. For me, I just feel like there's so many people that he could still face because people are like, well, who else could he face? And I'm like, even if he loses, even if the person loses, there's still plenty of people who can challenge him. And instead, we're just like, oh, well, he's not going to take any challenge unless it's someone who actually people think can win. And so it's like, oh, he's the final boss. Okay, but the final boss is around waiting for you to get there. He's not off and being like, has like an IOU sign on the door, like he's
Yeah.
not just like invisible. And I don't know. It's something that's going to drive me crazy, and it's just disappointing because I was really looking forward to the bloodline fallout after Mania, and we might not get really anything, or it might not be for a couple weeks, and then it's still not the same because we're so far removed from
Yeah.
Mania that that feeling that we had watching the Usos lose and watching Roman win the next night is not going to still be there. So, but anyway, so this is, I guess that's what they're going to be doing to just hold us over until Roman decides that he wants to come back to being the champion of the, company that he's the champion of. So the match between Matt Riddle and Solo was fine. I still think we need to see Riddle stop wearing trunks because it's weird.
Oh, I thought it was a nice little switch up.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it looks weird. I
Well,
don't know if it.
let's.
I don't.
I
I don't
don't know
like
if
it.
there's many things you like.
There's not a whole lot.
Okay.
So Owens and Zayn plus the Usos were ejected from ringside throughout the match, which was cool because then, everything was one-on-one, which is something that I have been getting sick of as well. Like, as great as it is to storyline, the Usos or Solo, whatever, they're interfering in matches far too often that it's just
Oh
becoming
yeah.
old at this point. So Solo wins with the Samoan spike, and then he followed that up by beating the ish out of Riddle. He bounced him off of the announce table and then covered him with it.
Yeah,
So
that
we
was
end with him a sweaty mess because Riddle sweats a lot, and then he looked like he was like crying. So, my original question: does anyone actually care about this feud?
Sorry, I think I'm gonna give you my answer to that.
If that's what you think, I got two words for you.
No.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in seeing a new Matt Riddle if you're gonna make him this hard, angry. He has a little bit of a, rough side, dark side, and then he can flip a switch and be the bro, what's up, and everything, but kind of make him that way, and he's kind of two-faced there. Cool, that's a different avenue. But like, if we're just gonna do Matt Riddle versus Solo Sikoa until Backlash, like, come on, like, we're better than that. I don't.
Well, and I think part of it is too, it's not even just this, but part of it is like, that he's not the reason why Riddle was off TV. So it's also like that whole like, oh, he's mad because he injured him for 4 months. It's like, no, it was because he needed to do some stuff for his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it just kind of just like takes that out of you. But I think the one part that I actually would surprisingly maybe be interested in, and I don't know if you caught this, but I'm sure you kind of did. During that backstage moment where Sammy is talking to Riddle and is saying, you really need to be careful of Solo. I've dealt with them. I was there when he took you out the last time. He's dangerous, and people around me are getting hurt, and so he thinks that he's kind of like bad luck or like a bad omen to the people that are getting close to him, and that he would hate for something to happen to Riddle. And Riddle tries to be all serious, and I can't take him serious because of his voice, and I just know it's just how he talks. But it's just a little difficult for me to take him seriously when he also stumbles when he's talking. I don't know. Anyway, and then that ended up happening, right? They got banned from ringside, and then he got his ass kicked and pummeled under the announcer's table. So I would almost be a little bit more intrigued by that. If that keeps happening, then maybe Riddle will get pissed off at Sammy, thinking that maybe he has a hand in this, or that maybe pairing himself up with Sammy and Kevin was a bad idea. I don't really care about any feud with Riddle involved, but like there's more legs to that, I feel, than like I'm trying to get back at Solo, even though I know I'm never going to, because he is a Samoan destroyer and he is a part of the bloodline, and it's never one-on-one. Like it's just like there's no point.
I will say I loved KO and Sammy coming out with Riddle, because Sami Zayn's electric. I mean, I'm playing this clip because this is what it legitimately felt like to me when watching them come out with Riddle. Like, guess who's who? It's really easy.
Yeah,
It's basically Sammy's out there dancing. And like he's like vibing, and KO is just, I mean, I can even demonstrate, like he's just got the belly. He's
so
like,
serious. Like,
all right, what are we doing? All right, let's get some ass, whatever. It was just so, it showed the dynamic of their friendship and their personalities so well. And God, it's just like you relate to it, because everyone's got that friend that you're either the one who's Sami Zayn dancing, obviously me, and then you have Squidward who's just like, whatever, what's going on in life, and that's my big guy. My big clock tower. So it was just really funny. It was just I love the dynamic.
Yeah, so we'll have to see where this goes. Obviously, I mean, Matt Riddle's been doing double duty, so I don't know if they're kind of having him transition to SmackDown. I don't know what they're trying to do, but he's been on. I think I had read that he's scheduled for both for like several weeks. Like he's supposed to be on Raw and SmackDown, and I was like, I'm so happy.
That's your dream come true, obviously.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they swapped out Cody being on Raw and SmackDown for Matt Riddle. It's like, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better gift. So,
all right. Well, anyway, the gift of comments are coming in. I mean, we have this one from Nathan. Edge is going to AEW. I would love to see that.
No, I wouldn't. Do not betray us, Edge. Do not betray us.
And then David says, I'm late. Well, you're going to have to go back and rewatch because this is the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And where is this one? Because Kingdom Razor asked this. I'm a champion of the peeps. You know, the peeps ask, the champ gives them. And Kingdom Razor asked this to us, I'm pretty sure. So let's answer it right now.
Okay.
Happy Saturday to you. 1 superpower for 3 days, fire manipulation, shapeshifter to any animal, or super healing. I'm going animal. Are you kidding me?
Me too.
I don't care about fire. Fire scares me.
Same.
Let's stick to lighter.
Healing would be great, but I don't have anyone I need to heal right now. I would love to just be able to. Maybe I could become a cat and just run around with Remy.
You would be a cat. Oh. No, be a dog. And then, all right.
No, you could be anything. I'm saying, like,
I wouldn't be a cat, though. I would not be a cat.
Well, I have a cat, so I would love to be a cat and play with her. But I would also love to be a penguin, and I would also love to be an elephant.
Elephant's too big to me. However, they do have a memory like a mother trucker. So
yeah. And what else?
Well, my favorite animal growing up, because I'm a weirdo, I loved armadillos. I just think it's so cool that they can just roll around the desert. And that's it.
I loved
it's so cool to me.
Penguins, pigs, dolphins,
I would love to be a pig.
I'm obsessed with pigs. So
I would love to be a pig. And just like rolling around mud all day.
I would love to be a dolphin, but not really, because the ocean scares the crap out of me. The ocean is like one of the scariest things in the entire world. Like,
I love the ocean.
no.
So soothing.
If you know what this reminds me of? Okay, this is so off topic, but we're here already. So,
It's the end of the show.
have you ever watched Criminal Minds?
Guys, episodes here and there.
Okay, so there's this one episode where a therapist becomes like a serial killer, and he kills his patients by way of their biggest fear. So
that's fucking terrifying.
I know. So like one girl was terrified of being buried alive, so he buried her alive. And then it's like, oh, this person was fear of like drowning or whatever. It's like, that's like me. I'm like, after I saw that episode, I'm like, I cannot tell anyone my biggest fear, because I can't ever let anyone use it against me. Because if you put me in the middle of the ocean, I would drown myself, because I would be so terrified. I'd rather just die. I'm like, I don't want someone to do that to me. You know, some scary therapist that decides that they want to just go on a massive killing spree. No.
Yeah, you're just trying to improve your mental health, and the guy's just trying to stab you in the back. That'd be
No, but the ocean legitimately scares me. Just like thinking about just being in the middle of the ocean, you can't see land anywhere, and there are so many animals and things in the ocean that we don't even know exist.
Oh, like, we know more about space than we do about the bottom.
Yeah, because we can't go far enough down the ocean. And then that's the thing too. It's so deep that in some places, like they haven't even discovered the end. Like that is that's terrifying.
That's a great question. What do you think has been less discovered, space or the ocean?
The ocean.
I'm gonna go ocean.
I think ocean, because they're still discovering animals. I mean, obviously, I think it's based off what we know, because we know that the government has hidden any sort of potential aspects of alien life.
Yeah, but that shit's coming out though.
No, but we still aren't going to see everything, is what I'm saying. So it's like, from what we know, based on the facts that we know right at this moment, it seems like, yes, it's the ocean. But if you told me that they found like alien life forms on like 3, 4, or 5 planets, then I'd be like, oh shit, okay. Like,
we got to a point where we found 9 planets or 10, whatever, and we're like, nah, you're not a planet anymore. We have not gone down and been like, you're a fish, you're not,
and they haven't figured out a way to go to the bottom of the ocean floor, because they run out of oxygen and our heads will explode from the pressure. So.
And we don't know about that. Space, you can just go into another. Well, we're going so off topic.
Yeah.
We're going. You know what this is, Sarah? I knew I'd find a way to use it. Yeah. Ooh, that's I found a way to use it, because the champ always finds a way.
What?
A champ always.
What?
You
Are you sure about that?
Thank you for closing up, Cena. Really appreciate that. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of SmackDown Breakdown on Sarah's YouTube channel. Go check it out at Sarah Marshall XO, where we have all our live streams. Not only that, we have clips from said live streams. Okay, if you don't want to sit there and watch the whole 59 minutes and 2 seconds, you just want to watch maybe a 4-minute clip of us talking about Matt Riddle or LA Knight.
I don't know if you want to listen to me talk about Matt Riddle.
I can talk about Matt. I can talk about anything. So if you want to do that, you go check that out, Sarah's YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button and leave a comment like our fans, our peeps are already been doing through this live stream, who we thank and appreciate you. And then follow us on Twitter to know when we go live. Okay, at Pat_Pitts and at SMarshXO. It's where we put all our thoughts, not only about the wrestling world, but Sarah, Celtics won today. I got my Tatum.
Yeah, they did.
Marshall's $10 jersey on. I watched that and SmackDown. I rewatched SmackDown because I fell asleep during the main event. That's what happens when you wake up at 4 a.m. every day. And I was in heaven. All right, I was in a champion's paradise. So that was great. And you can see our tweets about it and other shit on our Twitters, and then Instagram. Follow me at Pitsy35 and follow Sara at @smarsh_, posting stories. I got to get better on Instagram. TikTok at, you say it, you promote it.
I think it's SmarshXO. I should
You're
try
getting
to be
TikTok.
more consistent with my screen names, but yes, that's what it is.
All right. So go follow TikTok too. We post clips as well. We're trying to build that up. We're just trying to build, okay? Brick by brick, step by step, day by day. That's what we're doing here at Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show. So in the meantime, thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you next episode.